Hola, ¿cómo estás? Muy bien. How are you guys? Mucho? Mucho good? That's good. Um, it's been a second. I feel shy. 1 minute. 1 minute. What do I say? Okay, so some of the postings I be shooting currently. What kind of English was that? Some of the stuff I post recently, I have posted recently, are relevant to some parenting stuff or some kid stuff or dealing with a narcissist or the ex, co-parenting stuff, right? And um although I do post stuff like that or repost other people's posts, um and I sympathize with some of them, so I repost because awareness, right? I don't have to be making all of these posts about what I'm posting about. I'm sure all of us are kind of doing that. I can't sit like this because it makes my arm look too skinny and it's not a good look. I gotta kind of make it look like I have a pump going on or something. So yeah, this stuff, this heartbroken parenting problems I'll be posting about. I'm well, yes, I'm struggling with some of that, but behind closed doors, I be trying my methods, and some of it just kind of boils down to if we're dealing with a difficult ex who claims to hate us, maybe they're heartbroken or maybe they're extra hurt. So what if we address some of that first, right? So I know when dealing with a narcissist, because each one of us could call each other narcissists back and forth all day long, and then once we label them into that one negative category, it's so hard for us to see them as anything other than, right? So usually, and it looks like we've concluded that all females, all baby mamas are kind of narcissistic. Okay, yeah, sure. They're hormonal. And what is a narcissist? A narcissist is kind of selfish. Well, maybe narcissistic and childish are kind of similar, right? And maybe narcissistic and childish behavior in the woman could be attributed to some father issues, whether an overly gentle guy that didn't provide any discipline or guidance to, especially, well, what did they say? If you had pretty daughters, they were sheltered. you know and that's the thing. So if some of these people, and guys too, father figures are important, we're finding out. And so as we as we struggle with this um co-parenting issue, right? um I know it seems pretty illogical, but what if you concede a little bit, you know? Um, there's a time and place for to stand your ground, but when it comes to your kid who looks 50% like your opponent in some of these parenting battles we're facing. Your kid looks like your opponent. He has all the qualities, all the DNAs, all the just so many things. The way the kid talks and moves and behaves and smells, everything about him is probably going to remind you of the other person too. I mean, to some degree, right? But there will be some kind of reminder. So if we are going through life and we're just so pent up with hate, um, uh, for the parent, the co-parent, and I think what I don't agree with um is the false narratives, right? Because it's so easy to, out of fear, out of um trying to win or one-upmanship, we begin to lie and character assassinate each other, right? And then pretty soon it becomes a huge battle, and then it's either court or we take justice into our own hands, whether it's through doing some shitty stuff to each other, and some people even go after their loved ones or exes, um just to a severe degree that it all boils down to you're still in love. You know, you guys are little soft cookies that can't crumble properly, and you just, you know. And then I guess a dangerous topic, and which is why I used to talk. I think all of these are kind of new profiles, but my opinion comes from the fact that I'm a man. I have never been in woman's shoes. So I can't really give you a woman opinion, but hopefully some of the stuff that I think about as a man in terms of being a man, maybe there's some stuff that is also valuable to women. Um and one of the things that I'm trying to figure out through wrestling with my own issues is this co-parenting thing, right? I'm Yeah, it's so easy to be toxic. It's so easy to maintain a fight and this and that. Um but for the most of us, if like a million divorces happened last year alone, um then we're all kind of relatively fresh, right? So somewhere along the line, whoever was wise enough to marry was convinced that that was a foolish move. And so in 2024, there was like just a heaviness of bad decisions, darkness, the epitome. It was like a turning point, right? And uh, it has a lot of connotations. Um, but yeah, it was like a turning point when the dawn, right? Where a lot of bad, spiritually dark things were happening, but a couple improvements were starting to make um, changes to the whole ripple effect of the world, right? And this content thing is crazy because this is the news, this is the entertainment, this is our connection to the world. So we might as well, participate in this exchange. um I know I'm finding myself to be quite addicted. It's like 10 hours of looking at this phone. Okay, maybe yeah, maybe 6 of those 10 hours is YouTube music stuff, or some audiobooks or something. And yeah, and this is why I share, is because I'm an open cup, right? Every morning I drink my coffee, and then I see what else knowledge wise can go into the cup, into my mind. And so I open up some business chats. There's a lot of chosen stuff happening on YouTube and everywhere else. So some of that actually makes sense, and some of that kind of feels demonic, some of that kind of feels a little bit twisted, but some of that actually has a good message. And I'm assuming that they might be talking about the Christians, right? The chosen people, or the Christ follower, or the the rest of the or the okay, since I can't pronounce it, I won't say it. Not yet. I'm not ready to get snipped off by you guys just yet. So as I was saying, this divorce stuff is happening. This divorce stuff is happening, right? And so as I'm dealing with my little narcissist, it occurred to me she wants to do everything backwards of what I want to do. And I found it kind of childish. And then I kind of find it kind of cute because I remember the little fights that she would put up with me. No, 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 I want to do it. And then you finally take her to the restaurant that you wanted to go in the first place. And then she finds a dish and she actually has a good night. Or something like that, right? But yeah, sometimes your ex-lover who you shared some crazy intimateness intimacy, but like intimate time, right, is what I'm trying to say, and it didn't play out. But and you made a life happen. I don't know how many of you guys are actively trying to get pregnant. Getting pregnant was extremely hard. We've been married for, my ex-wife, we've been married for 5 years. And I was like, my goodness, when am I gonna have a kid? You know? And I'm like, there's a problem with me. I smoke too much weed. I'm a loser. My testosterone's low or something. But I think our food is being poisoned. Our air is being poisoned. Something, if we were to study the molecules that were around us and in our food, there would be a lot of stuff that made us infertile for some time, right? I think our food is chemically treated to control the population. And some of this is just some crazy talk. And as we play this internet swipe game, we find out more and more of the reoccurring same crazy talk, right? So I guess sometimes, yeah, it feels good to be validated, right? I don't know. As a man, I've also encountered my own divorce problem. I thought I had a good one. She might be a good one for somebody else, right? But we didn't choose to pursue the same things in life, so that didn't work out. Heartbreak. Wow. But I do have a 2-year-old son, and a year of his life already has been kind of traumatic, right? Family separated, a lot of tension in the air, some arguing, raised voices. I'm sure all of us remember or notice that our kid is definitely aware of what's going on between his two sources of gravity, right? Like, not only does he rely on you for development here, stomach, body, physical, whatever, but it's like identity wise, you're the two halves of him, right? He's like, okay, I know I'm awake, I know I'm asleep, I know I'm happy, I know I'm sad, I know this is mom, I know this is dad. You know, there's this dynamic balance of energy, I guess. And the dad brings something to the table, you know. I'm sure all of you baby mamas have gone loose, lived your life, and found out that a lot of this stuff ain't shit, you know. And some of it's kind of fun. The dangerous part is, as we're fighting the other co-parent, sometimes we are so stuck in a lie that we have to keep lying to go along with it, right? Because at some point, if we were to pause, reflect on the truth and some logic, could we see the other person's perspective, right? For the sake of my kid, right in the middle, being heartbroken between the two of us grown-ass adults that claim to love him, could we see something in each other to tone down the ferocity? You know, we don't have to be with with the knife to the neck every time we meet, right? Sometimes we can either set a time to discuss something, or we can choose to just let it go, start over, and bring a smile to the face. Maybe I'm a little bit more hesitant about this because this is a newer approach I'm trying. I'm shit, today usually I get one word replies, and it's like, no. I'm like, can I see some pictures of my kid? No. Can I see my kid? No. Or I get an email, hey, you owe me money. Okay. No, I'm kidding. She's almost that bad. But because we're fighting and I want to be dramatic, yeah, mentally I'm like, she's horrible, the terrible narcissist. Ah, you're driving me crazy. But in reality, yeah, the kid is with her, and this is as a guy, thinking as a guy, right? The kid is with the mom. The kid loves the mom. I'm sure the mom has some family and friends around who might be helping out with her, but that's not a bad setup, right? Of all the things, would I rather have my mom or the orphanage take care of my kid? Like, we're so obsessed with ourselves. We're like, I need the kid in my care, in my presence, just so the other parent loses. But that's just, the kid wants both of you. That's the crazy part. The kid loves both of you. He don't give a shit about your personal business, your adult fucking immature ways. Like, he loves both of you. Like, he don't know nothing. He don't care about nothing. Nothing. So anyways, I found that pretty optimistic, so I thought I'd pass it along. Because yeah, parenting issues, family problems seem to be pretty complex, right? But at some point we have to consider the fact that family problems are still family. And I don't know. We think that we can just cut family off, but nah. She's like, you need to quit talking to my family. I was like, no, they're my family too. To me, they're my kid's grandma, my kid's aunt, my kid's mom, my kid's grandpa, To them, I'm my kid's dad. Like, we're already in each other's life. What are we just gonna be like, oh, you don't exist, My family did that, which is why I don't even like my last name. So that's why I don't even like putting it on shit, except some some shitty documents, or the receipts where I gotta pay for stuff, and that's just delusional. Like, how could you pretend that your family member does not exist, right? Parent, mom, your problematic sister, your problematic brother, cousin. Like, why don't we, like, it's a lonely ass world. And what I want to discourage is to reinforce this fucked up mentality, right? So no, we make connections. We're here for literally what, like 50, 75 years by now. And then we're old. And then we're out of here. We think that, some of us will live eternally. But I don't know. 50, 70 years doesn't sound like a long time to be all upset about your family members and, I don't know, the softer areas of life, I guess. All right, thanks.